Have you ever walked into a room and forgot why you went there, or felt like something happened before, even though it's the first time? Don't worry, your brain isn't broken. It's just doing something funny that we call a brain glitch. Hi, today we're going to learn about the silly tricks our brains play on us. These aren't bad things. They're like little peeks that show us how our brains work. Your brain is kind of like a super amazing computer that helps you do everything. Sometimes this computer takes shortcuts to make things easier. When we notice these shortcuts, they feel like little mix-ups or glitches. By the end of our talk, you'll understand why these funny brain moments happen. You might even learn some cool tricks to help when your brain gets confused. So let's explore the amazing world inside your head, where sometimes things aren't exactly what they seem. Have you ever gone to your bedroom to get something, and as soon as you walk through the door, you forget what you wanted? This funny brain trick is called the doorway effect. When you walk through a door, your brain thinks, oh, new room, new things to do. Sometimes it gets so excited about the new room that it drops the old thoughts like dropping a toy when you see a new one. Your brain does this because long ago, when people lived in caves and forests, they needed to pay attention to new places to stay safe from wild animals. So your brain learned to focus on new rooms instead of old thoughts. Scientists found that people forget things much more when they walk through doors than when they just walk around in the same room. Want to know a magic trick to help? Before you walk through a door, say out loud what you want to do. Like, I'm getting my teddy bear. This helps your brain remember even after you go through the door. Have you ever fallen down or had something scary happen and it felt like time got really slow, like everything was moving in slow motion? This is a cool brain trick called time feeling slower. When something scary or super exciting happens, your brain goes, whoa, this is important. It starts paying super duper attention to everything around you. It notices more things than it usually does. It's like when you're watching a movie, but suddenly the movie shows you every tiny detail. Later, when you remember what happened, your brain has so many more pictures of that moment that it feels like time stretched out like silly putty. Even big kids like basketball players or race car drivers say that sometimes time feels slow when they're doing something really important or exciting. Next time something exciting happens and time feels slow, remember, the clock isn't broken. Your amazing brain is just taking extra pictures of that special moment. I know what I saw. Have you ever said that when talking about something that happened? Here's a secret. Our brains don't remember things like a video camera. They're more like a storyteller who sometimes changes the story a little bit. When you see something happen, your brain doesn't keep a perfect picture. Instead, it remembers the important parts and sometimes fills in the blanks with what it thinks might have happened. This is why you and your friend might remember the same thing differently. Maybe you remember the dog in the park was brown, but your friend thinks it was black. Neither of you is telling a fib. Your brains just saved different versions of what happened. Scientists did a funny experiment where they got grown-ups to believe they were lost in a shopping mall when they were little kids, even though it never really happened. Their brains made up a pretend memory because someone suggested it could have happened. So next time you and your friend disagree about what happened, remember, you both might be remembering it a little differently, and that's okay. Have you ever had a super strange feeling that you've done something before, even though you know it's the very first time? Like you're playing at a new playground, but feel like you've been there before? This weird feeling is called déjà vu, which is a fancy way of saying already seen in another language. Most people feel déjà vu sometimes. It feels really strange, like you're in a dream, or like you can guess what will happen next. Why does this happen? Well, your brain has different parts that work together to help you remember things. Sometimes these parts get a little mixed up. One part might say, this feels familiar, while another part knows it's new. When these parts send different messages, you get that funny déjà vu feeling. It's kind of like if your brain accidentally puts a new experience in the old memories folder by mistake. When that happens, your brain gets confused and says, hey, I've seen this before, even though you haven't. Next time you feel déjà vu, don't worry. It just means your brain is working in a funny way, and that happens to everyone sometimes. Have you ever stared at something for a long time, like a waterfall, and then when you look away, other things seem to move in a funny way? Or have you seen shapes in the clouds, like a cloud that looks just like a dinosaur or a bunny? This happens because your brain likes to make sense of what you see. Sometimes it tries so hard to find patterns that it sees things that aren't really there. If you stare at one color for a really long time, your brain might get bored and start making up colors or shapes. It's like your brain saying, if nothing interesting is happening, I'll make something up. Here's something super cool. You actually have tiny spots in your eyes where you can't see anything at all. They're called blind spots, but you never notice them because your brain fills in what it thinks should be there. Your brain is like an artist that paints in the missing parts of a picture. This is why sometimes people see different things when they look at the same thing. Your brain and your friend's brain might fill in different details. Have you ever not noticed when someone got a haircut? Or maybe your mom moved a picture on the wall and you didn't see it for days? This is called change blindness. It means sometimes we don't see changes that happen right in front of our eyes. Scientists did a funny experiment where someone was asking for directions and then a different person swapped places with them in the middle of talking. Half the people didn't even notice they were suddenly talking to someone completely different. This isn't because your eyes don't work, it's because your brain can't pay attention to everything all at once. Your brain is like a flashlight in a dark room. It can only shine on one spot at a time. When you're focused on something, like playing with your toys or watching your favorite show, your brain might not notice other things changing around you. That's why your mom can sometimes clean up your room while you're watching TV, and you might not even notice. Next time you're playing spot the difference games, remember that your brain sometimes misses changes, and that's perfectly normal. Have you ever seen a face in the clouds? Or looked at a tree and thought it looked like a monster? Or maybe you've seen a car that looks like it has a smiley face on the front? This brain trick is called pareidolia. That's a big word that means seeing patterns. Our brains are super good at finding faces and shapes and things, even when they're not really there. Your brain especially loves to find faces. That's why you might see a face in a power outlet. It looks like two eyes and a mouth, or think the moon has a face. Long ago, when people lived in the wild, seeing faces quickly was important to stay safe. It was better to mistake a tree for a bear than to miss seeing a real bear. So our brains got really good at spotting faces, sometimes too good. Different people see different things. Some people find faces and shapes and things more often than others. It shows how creative your brain can be. Next time you see a face in something like your toast or in the patterns on your bedroom wall, remember, it's just your clever brain playing a fun game of make-believe. Have you ever learned a new word and then suddenly heard that word everywhere? Or maybe you got a new toy and then noticed lots of kids have the same toy too. This funny brain trick is called the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, but we can just call it the suddenly seeing it everywhere trick. Here's what happens. When you learn something new that you think is cool or interesting, your brain starts to notice it more. The things were always there before, but your brain didn't think they were important enough to pay attention to. It's like when you get new blue shoes and suddenly you notice everyone else who has blue shoes too. The blue shoes were always there, but now your brain says, hey, blue shoes are important now. This happens because your brain can't notice everything all the time. There's just too much stuff, so it only points out things it thinks you care about. Next time you learn a new word and then hear everyone using it, remember, they were using it all along. You just weren't listening for it before. Here's a super amazing brain trick. Sometimes if you think medicine will make you feel better, you might actually feel better even if the medicine is just pretend. Doctors call this the placebo effect. It's like magic that your own brain makes happen. Let's say you have a tummy ache and someone gives you a sugar pill but tells you it's special medicine for tummy aches. Your brain might think, oh good, this will fix my tummy. And guess what? Sometimes your tummy actually starts feeling better, even though the pill was just sugar. The amazing thing is that your brain can make real changes in your body just by what you believe. If you think something will help you feel better, sometimes your body actually makes itself feel better. Scientists have found that this even works sometimes when people know they're getting pretend medicine. Just thinking about feeling better can help some people actually feel better. This shows how powerful your thoughts can be. Your brain doesn't just think about the world. It can change how your body feels too. All these funny brain glitches, like forgetting why you entered a room, feeling like time slows down when you're scared, or seeing faces in clouds, aren't mistakes. They're signs of how amazing your brain really is. Forgetting why you went into a room shows your brain is great at noticing new places. Seeing faces in clouds means you're awesome at finding patterns. If you want to remember something, try saying it out loud before moving. If you and a friend remember things differently, that's normal too. Next time your brain plays a trick, don't get upset, get curious. Your brain is incredible.